Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me or us on the mat again today. I have a spine unwind routine, which is appropriate because I was in the car for at least 5 hours yesterday, so this is something I definitely need to do. Before we get started, I have a couple of props that, because I'm a visual person, I thought might be helpful. I've used this before to kind of explain how I want you throughout this routine to visualize your spine so that when we're doing inversions, and I give cues like peeling and melting off of the mat, I want you to think about peeling each segment of your vertebrae one at a time and then melting down again one at a time, and just really focusing on mobilizing that spine rather than recruiting our abdominals and hinging to kind of get up and down. I also have this helpful little shape. We're going to be progressing from a Swan 1 to a Swan 2, which I don't believe we've done yet. But basically, I'm going to cue you to keep kind of a rocking chair position. And so I want you to think of your body making this shape, your legs, your upper body, and kind of making this movement. It'll make more sense when we do it, but again, I'm a visual person, so it really helps to kind of see what that looks like. Also, a word before we get started: if you have had difficulties in the other videos doing a roll up, or you feel that even just extending your legs towards the ceiling is a bit challenging, just do that. You don't need to progress too quickly. By all means, do the videos that feel comfortable for you. Work up to inversions. There's no sense in rushing things and getting hurt over, Pilates routine. There's plenty of time. We're in no rush. So just modify as you need, and as always, be respectful to your body and what you are capable of in this moment. So with that being said, let's go ahead and lie on our mats. We're going to begin with the pelvic clock. So as always, we're envisioning our pelvis as a bowl, and we are tipping and tilting that bowl starting at 12 and 6 o'clock, imagining a little marble in our bowl rolling up to 12 o'clock towards our head, and then down towards 6 o'clock towards our feet. Our body is nice and quiet. It's just the movement of the pelvis. And you'll notice that when we do go towards that 6 o'clock motion, our shoulders and head get pulled down just as an effect of that pelvis. That's totally fine. And just take a moment to get centered on the mat. Just checking in, how are we feeling today, physically, mentally, emotionally? Just grounding ourselves. We are taking the next few minutes just to be here on the mat. Go ahead and switch that motion to the 9 and 3. Just having some nice rotation already, getting ourselves warmed up. Pressing lightly into our feet to kind of help get some deep rotation. And go ahead and do some circles all the way around. We're tipping and tilting our bowl in a circle. Little marbles going all over the place. And go ahead and, when you feel ready, switch and go the opposite way. Notice how one way of circling might feel a little easier this way. The counterclockwise way feels a little bit more awkward, to me at least. And go ahead back to that 12 and 6 o'clock motion. And put your hands at your side. And when you get to 12, go ahead and peel off of the mat again, thinking of our wooden snake, every vertebrae, one at a time coming up. And then starting up here kind of at your sternum, we're melting down vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and slow. If you think of melting chocolate, it happens very slowly. And then finish that 6 o'clock motion. Come back up to 12. Peeling off like you're peeling a magnet off the fridge. Holding it there. And then melting back down. Finishing it. It's that 6 o'clock movement. Bring your feet slightly closer to your butt. Go back to 12. And let's try to really push our hips up towards the ceiling so that we're more on our shoulder blades, making sure we're not on our neck or our head. Our neck and our head are just kind of hanging out, but we're firm on our shoulder blades on the mat. And begin doing that 3 and 9 o'clock pelvic clock as you slowly lower vertebrae by vertebrae. And finish it to 6, and let's do that again. Peeling up, really pressing those hips towards the ceiling. Beginning to do that 9 and 3 o'clock motion as we melt back down. Finish it to 6 o'clock. And then rest your pelvis in the center. Extend your legs. Bring your arms over your head. We're going to do a roll up. So you're going to exhale and you're going to tuck your chin to your chest. And just like our wooden snake, we're rolling up, as the name implies. We're going to sit nice and tall instead of going into a spine stretch. Bring your arms out to the side. And exhale as you twist. We're bringing our arms and our gaze with us. Our pelvis and our legs are heavy on the mat. We're just rotating that spine. Let's go to the other way, making sure that we're nice and long in our neck. Making sure those shoulders stay down away from the ears. Come back to center. Tilt that pelvis towards 12 o'clock and unwind your spine. Bringing your arms down at your side. Let's go ahead and point our toes up to the ceiling. I'm going to scoot down just so you guys can see me a little bit better. Pressing into our hands, we're going to drop our feet towards the wall behind us and just start with a nice little rollover. We're on our shoulder blades, our neck and our head should not really feel much pressure. Our thighs are going up towards the ceiling even though our legs are parallel to the ground. We're going to do some jackknifes. So we're going to raise our legs using your arms as support up as straight as you can. Probably won't be straight. And then lower them back down to the ground, up towards the sky, down towards the ground. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And unwind. Again, our wooden snake, vertebrae by vertebrae. Really massaging that spine out on the mat. Bringing our legs down to the ground. We're going to do another roll up if you want to try neck pull, which is very similar to the roll up. We just have our hands interlaced behind our head. Tuck your chin to your chest and roll up nice and tall. We'll do a spine stretch again, or spine twist, excuse me. Go ahead and bring your arms down, tilt that pelvis to 12 o'clock. Unwind. Let's bring our feet back to the ceiling. Drop those legs towards the wall behind you into our rollover, and let's bring our feet and our legs so that they're over our right shoulder. We're going to do a corkscrew. And it kind of took me a while to get this because I'm really bad with my left and right, so I will do my best to cue this. But our feet are over our right shoulder, and we're slowly going to unwind down the right side of our spine. And then we're making a U shape with our legs and coming up the left side of our spine. And now our feet are over our left shoulder. Come back down the left side of our spine. Swoop the legs around, come up the right side of the spine. So now our feet are over our right shoulder again. We're just making a U shape, going up one side and back down that same side. Let's go back to the left side. Feet are over the left shoulder. Come down the left side of the spine. Come up the right side of the spine. Our legs are over the right shoulder. Come back to center and unwind. Bringing the legs down. We'll come up into a roll up and we'll do a spine stretch. Nice breath here. And then restack that spine. We're gonna do some mermaids. Excuse my leggings, I wore them when I was pregnant, so they're so stretchy. All right, so if you remember with the mermaids, we want to keep our sits bones or your cheeks firm on the mat. We're gonna take one hand to the mat. We're gonna begin to lower to the side. I want you to think of your rib cage as one of those paper fans. We're fanning open our ribs. Really deepening. This is a nice stretch for the ribs, and it's nice lateral flexion for the spine. Let's switch to the other side. This feels really good after being in a car. Let's switch which legs in front. Again, making sure that our sits bones are on the mat. If you need to put a pillow underneath, do what you need to do. Fanning open those ribs. Let's come to the other side. I think my eyes have been closed for the majority of this session. All right, and then we're gonna come onto our stomachs for Swan 1 and Swan 2. So again, for Swan 2, keep this rocking chair shape in mind. We're gonna have our fingertips at our chest. We're gonna inhale as we draw our elbows towards our feet, extending our arms. Our back has a nice C curve. Our gaze is just ahead. Taking some nice breaths here. Let's melt back down. We hit our pubic bone first. We're rolling like that wooden snake, and then our belly button, then our chest. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, draw those elbows towards your ankles. Your gaze is right ahead. Now, keeping that rocking chair motion, you're going to exhale and you're going to release your hands. And inhale and come back up. So your legs stay in this exact rocking chair shape. One more. All right, go ahead and come into a quadruped. That's always a fun one. It's kind of an awkward one to cue. Better if I just demonstrate. We're gonna be in this quadruped. Let's do some cat-cows just since we're really working on that spine. So we inhale and we arch the back. exhale. And then go ahead and take your right arm and thread it through so that it's down on the mat. Just having a nice little rotational stretch here. Just take some breaths. Let's do the other side. This also feels really good. All right, and then let's come back into a child's pose to end the session. Just taking some deep breaths here. There's something really calming and really therapeutic about doing some spine work. I think the rotation, the mobility. You know, Joe Pilates famously said, you are only as young as your spinal column is flexible. So, you know, when we think about aging, we can get a little freaked out because, you know, you're slower, your movements often you think are more painful. So spinal mobility is just so crucial to maintaining our quality of life as we age. And Pilates is obviously a great way to maintain that mobility. So thank you so much for sharing this time with me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.